Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Grammy, Academy, and Golden Globe Award-winning superstar, Mary J. Blige, live in Memphis. The For My Fans Tour, live at FedEx Forum Saturday, April 19th, with special guests Neo and Mario. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The iconic Mary J. Blige, for one night only.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you didn't think the Grizzlies would get back to their winning ways last night, because that didn't happen. Instead, Steph Curry came in here, downtown Memphis, got 52 points. Another rough night for the home team inside FedEx Forum. We'll cry about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. Chris Vernon is the host of the Chris Vernon Show, weekdays noon, Grind City Media. He joins me on Wednesdays. Today is Wednesday. He's going to be here in about 20 minutes. I'll talk all things Grizzlies with Vernon. Finish talking to him, take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, the CBS Sports Annual College Basketball Awards are publishing today. I'll tell you who we voted National Player of the Year and where P.J. Haggerty landed on the All-America teams. We'll do that in about 40 minutes. Buzz Williams has left Texas A&M for Maryland. This is the way he does it. That means an SEC job is open. Sounds like Chris Beard might be among the targets. Ole Miss coach getting some interest from Texas A&M. We'll discuss Buzz's decision to leave A&M for Maryland. We'll do that a little later on in the show. The acts that will be performing at the Final Four's annual music festival have been announced. I'll tell you who's going to be there in San Antonio in just a bit. The Red Sox Rafael Devers going to try to break free of his awful start to this season later today when Boston plays Baltimore. I'll run you through some crazy numbers connected to him. We'll do that in the third segment. And rest in peace, Val Kilmer, celebrated actor, has died at the age of 65 from pneumonia. We'll spend some time on that during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carry out. We'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies, because game 76 of a scheduled 82, it was played last night in downtown Memphis. Once again, I got bad news.
What's going on?
Final score, Warriors 134, Grizzlies 125. congrats to all of the Golden State fans inside FedEx Forum last night. I bet you guys had a blast. Steph Curry took 31 shots. He made 16 of them. Finished with 52 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 steals. Great performance for an all-time great. Big Bet Bennett, we'll get back to the Grizzlies in a moment. But first, what's it like to watch the best shooter this world has ever known go 12 of 20 from 3, drop 52 points in downtown Memphis to push the Grizzlies even further down the Western Conference standings?
You know, I kind of called it. I texted the group text before the game, and I said Steph's about to have a historic.
Hold on. Who's your group text?
Just a bunch of like old friends and stuff. Just like
how many people in this group text?
There's 5 of us. No, there's 4 of us now. It's like I'm in a multiple group text.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
Have you
ever heard about a group text that people are in and you're like, wonder why I'm not in that?
Yeah, like yes.
And it hurt your feelings a little bit?
Sure.
Okay.
It does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Except just as often, I end up in a group text and I'm like, why am I in this?
Right.
And then I don't know how to get out of it.
And usually,
but then I build my confidence up, and then I'm like, I've got to leave this. I don't want to be involved in this.
And
I don't even like these people.
There's like a bigger group text with like our massive group of friends, and then there's like a smaller group text.
Do people in the smaller group text talk shit about people in the bigger one?
No, but like that.
Subgroup texts are tricky. Because, like, I got some subgroup text, too.
Everyone has subgroup text.
And you don't...
If you're a group texter, you've got a subgroup text.
And here's the thing. You don't know when you're getting left out of it.
Right.
You think you're in the subgroup text.
But see, some of those friends have a subgroup text, too.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Listen, this is a very normal thing.
Yes.
Group text. Think of it like this. Group text.
Yep.
Let's say you got 6 people in a group text.
Yeah, you got the broad group text.
Okay, let's say 6 people in a group text. Then these 3 people over here will start their own group text to talk about one of the people in this other group text. And you think you're then in the cool group text. You're like, okay, well, I'm a part of the 6, but then I'm also part of the cool 3.
Yep.
What you don't know is that the other 3 that ain't in this one, they got another little 2-man group text going on over here, and they're talking shit about you.
It's just true.
It's just true.
Life. That's life. It's life.
Just true.
Yeah.
And so here's what I decided a while ago, as it pertains to my friends, not with anybody else, but my friends. This is the way I deal with this. I assume all my friends talk about me and make fun of me.
I assume that too.
So I don't even worry about it.
I feel the exact same way, GP.
It's just so much easier when you just assume.
Everyone's talking shit about you behind your back.
I just assume.
It's okay.
I just
We're still
assume
friends.
when I'm not group texting with Vernon, he is in a group text with somebody else being like, and then GP came in talking about his KimPom number. Like, I just assume that's happening somewhere, right? So I'm okay with it.
So I said in the subgroup text, Steph Curry's about to have a historic night in this building tonight before the game. And the reason I said that is because, I try to make it a point. I get to see all these guys warm. Like I've got a great job. Like I get to see all these guys warm up, which is awesome. But I make it a point to watch Steph and LeBron warm up.
Sure.
I just do. Like that's kind of a show, right? And Steph's are like he's doing trick shots and stuff like that. And dude, last night watching him, he's just so loose out there. Like, I mean, he's like treating the basketball like a soccer ball, and he's kicking it around with the guy that's that's helping him and feeding him the ball. And then he's like, he's kicking it and catching it and shooting a fadeaway 3 and just loose, hitting everything. And you're just like, oh boy, because it's a huge game for them, right? Like that was the other thing is the stakes are very high for both of these teams last night. And so I just had a feeling, man. I had a feeling coming into it that he was going to go big last night, and he certainly did.
He certainly did. 52 points, 12 of 20 from beyond the arc. I would argue there is nothing more exciting in sports over a period of a 48-minute game. People can deliver better highlights.
Yes.
John Morant can deliver a better highlight. I don't think there's anything more enjoyable.
When he gets on a heater.
Perhaps in sports than Steph Curry on a heater.
It's insane because you find yourself like you can hear the audible gasp in the arena before the ball comes off his hand. When he catches it and you see space, there's nothing like it. You can hear the arena be like, oh.
And it ain't got to be much space.
Right.
It ain't got to be much.
Right.
He's different, man. He's a different deal. He's awesome.
Yeah.
I'd rather not be on the wrong end of it.
Me too.
But I can still appreciate it. Oh, by the way, history was made last night in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know this? History was made.
Steph made a bunch of history.
Well, yes, okay. But in addition, after most of us went to bed,
Yep.
history was made.
Okay.
Because after Steph scored 52 in Memphis, Nikola Jokic scored 61 and a double overtime loss to the Timberwolves. That ain't good for the Grizzlies either. He did that in Denver. And that is the first night, April 1st, 2025, Bennett, is the first night in the history of the NBA where two former MVPs have scored 50-plus on the same night. History made last night in the NBA. Grizzlies on the wrong side of it.
And I thought, because I'm pretty sure that the score, I think Kobe holds the scoring record inside that building was the 60 back in 2007. I think that's it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought he was going to go for 60 plus. I did, because he had like 30 something in the first half.
Well, the second quarter was outrageous, and he was on one, man. And when he gets on one, he's one of the few people in the world where almost regardless of how it comes out of his hand, because this is not like Steph Curry is amazing. Do not ever show Steph Curry highlight videos to your 8-year-old. That is not the way you want to teach them to play basketball. Those are terrible shots for a normal person.
Anybody but him.
Yeah, but him. He can take them.
Right.
But you don't need.
He pulled up from like a little past the half court line, and I was just like, okay.
It's just like, it's like Ronald Acuna is awesome, but do not teach your son to play baseball like Ronald Acuna, because he can't, like, this is the trick about watching certainly Major League Baseball players I've figured out. They don't do anything the way you teach it in a game, or rarely do anything the way you teach it in a game, because it's just, they're just so good.
Right.
they can be casual with it, and you don't want your 8-year-old being casual with anything. So you start showing them Ellie De La Cruz videos, and here's the way Ellie De La Cruz takes balls at shortstop, and it's like suddenly your 8-year-old's not taking balls the right way. You're not Ellie De La Cruz.
Right.
You're not Steph Curry. But like Steph can take these wild shots, he's constantly moving, running off screens, off balance, tough angles, not much space. Bad shot for you, bad shot for you, bad shot for you. He can make them. And when he doesn't make them, it's surprising. It's just, he's unbelievable. And that was an incredible performance last night.
Passed LeBron last night for most 50-point games.
He's a monster. He will. I don't even know that he is properly appreciated. Like, I know we call him things like greatest shooter in the world, but he will go down in history as like top 10 to ever do it. I know Magic Johnson is largely held up as like the greatest point guard of all time. You could make an argument that it should be Steph Curry. He has changed the way basketball's played.
I don't think he's properly appreciated maybe by the media. What I will say is it was very close, and I would probably give the edge to Steph. You know, when they leave the court, you have the fans that wait around, right?
He's a different deal.
I think more for him than LeBron the other night.
Oh, no. If you're trying to figure out who the real stars are for kids.
Yep. That's it.
That's it.
Yes.
It's Steph Curry. In basketball, it's Steph Curry, and in football, it's Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
Those are and in baseball, honestly, you know who it is? At least based on my interactions with 8-year-old baseball players, it's Ellie De La Cruz. In basketball, it's Steph Curry. In football, it's Patrick Mahomes. And in baseball, it's Ellie De La Cruz. In this market, it could be Austin Riley because he's from the area. But like broadly speaking, it's Ellie De La Cruz. Like kids like cool stuff that looks awesome.
Yeah.
And Steph Curry looks awesome. I wish he didn't look as awesome last night, but he was awesome last night. So the Grizz are now 44-32 on the season. 9-20 against the top 6 in the East and West. 35-12 against everybody else. They've now lost 12 straight games to teams with winning records dating back to February 8th. Bennett, it's April 2nd. You mean run you through it real quick?
Yes.
Lost to the Thunder by I was hoping you'd say no. Lost to the Thunder by 13 on February 8th. Lost to the Clippers by 13 on February 12th. Lost to the Pacers by 14 on February 20th. Lost to the Cavs by 6 on February 23rd. Lost to the Knicks by 1 on February 28th. Almost had them. Lost to the Thunder by 17th on March 5th. Lost to the Cavs by 9 on March 14th. Lost to the Clippers by 20 on March 21st. Lost to the Thunder by 21 on March 27th. Lost to the Lakers by 7 on March 29th. Lost to the Celtics by 14 on March 31st. Lost to the Warriors by 9 on April 1st. 12 straight losses to teams with winning records. Average margin of defeat in those games, 12.0. 0. Since the coaching change, they're now 0-3 and losing by an average of 10 points per game. Granted, it's been a tougher than normal schedule, but we did just go through an 0-3 homestand with the Grizzlies now headed to Miami. 4-game losing streak overall, tied for 6th in the West with the Timberwolves heading into that game in Miami. 6 games left in the regular season, tied for 6th with the Timberwolves, only a half game ahead of the Clippers, who could end up being the Grizzlies' first play-in opponent, because I don't know if you've seen the updated ESPN projections.
I've seen them.
Oh, Bennett, I didn't want to have to talk to you about this. I was hoping we wouldn't have to talk about this. But the projections have been updated at ESPN, and right now the Grizzlies are projected to finish 7th in the West. ESPN gives them a 65% chance to be in the play-in, just a 35% chance now to finish in the top 6. Based on ESPN's current projections, the Grizzlies will open the postseason at home in a game against the Los Angeles Clippers in the play-in.
You know, I told you yesterday that I think...
And actually, that's not even true. Based off of current projections, the Grizzlies would actually have to open against the Clippers in LA.
Okay, so I told you yesterday, I think they have to go 4-3 in the month of April to avoid the play-in. All right. Now they're going to have to go 4-2 to avoid the play-in. I think they have to get 4 more wins to avoid. And they may not even be able to avoid it then, because Minnesota might not lose. That's the problem. Or the Clippers might not lose. But I think if we can get 4, we'll avoid it. Listen, last night, it's really hard during this stretch to have any kind of moral victories, because you just you're losing so many games. You're in a free fall, right? There was better signs last night than there were in the previous 2 games, I thought. I mean, they played harder. The Warriors still scored 134 points, so I can't sit here and say that they played good defensively. They played harder, for sure, and obviously Steph goes on a heater. I think if Jaren doesn't foul out, I think that game might have gone a different way.
And maybe not pick up your 5th foul on the wrong side of the court.
You can't pick up 2 fouls in the first couple minutes of the game.
That goes without saying.
Yeah.
But the 5th foul was you just grabbed somebody for no reason.
It's a frustration foul. You can't do it.
But that's, and I say this respectfully, if a 12-year-old does that, you go, what are you doing?
Yeah. And he knows it. Of
course he knows it.
He said in the post game, I think too, Ja got hit in the face, took an elbow from on a play with Moses Moody, and had to go back to the locker room for a little bit. I think losing him for a few minutes might have helped too, because you've made a lot. You've talked a lot about the minutes recently and playing. You've got to play these guys big minutes like these other teams are doing. They were on track to do that last night. Every starter played 30-plus minutes, and Ja and Jaren were on pace to play as many, if not more, than Steph, Draymond, Jimmy Butler, but both of them had to leave the game. So
Ja got 36 on 22 shots.
Yeah.
It's just overshadowed by Steph's 52.
Right.
But Ja was good.
He was awesome, yeah.
But Jaren, that was just...
We need you.
You got to be on the court.
Yes.
I can't remember whether it was Pete or Brevin. I think it was Pete last night. But one of them said, the greatest ability is availability. It's a common thing people say about professional sports. But you got to be available. You got to be available.
Yeah.
And I'm not somebody who gets caught up in every single whistle that goes against you. But that's one you can't do that. You have 4 fouls. This is an important part of the game. This is an important game. I mean, last night's game, you ready for this? Could really determine whether you finish in the top 6 and don't have to deal with the play-in at all, or you have a play-in game against the Clippers in Los Angeles. You're an underdog. You lose it, and now you're playing for your life the next night. Mm-hmm. And then you miss that, and you're done.
Yeah.
84 games, you're done. That could be where they're headed. They could be done after game 84. And last night could be the thing that determines that. And by extension, you'll keep playing this out. Grabbing somebody on the wrong side of the court when you've already got 4 fouls could be the thing that did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not great. Not great.
Not great. And also, like, quite literally the thing people talked about in year 1, year 2. I agree with you. You've got it labeled exactly right. It was just frustration. Sometimes in all walks of life, including basketball, people say and do things they otherwise wouldn't say or do out of frustration. I understand it. But that doesn't mean you can't also be frustrated by it, disappointed in it. I understand what happened. I don't need an explanation. I don't need Jaren Jackson to sit down next to me and be like, well, here's what happened. I know what happened. You're not playing well. You got frustrated. You picked up a stupid foul. Then you got more frustrated. Then you got your next one. Now you got to watch the rest of the game. I know what happened. But, like, that can't happen.
No.
That's a mistake.
It is.
I don't even have to tell him. He knows. But it's a mistake, and it's a bad one and a costly one.
It's a costly one. I thought Edey played good last night. I thought Edey played really
yes,
good
and
last
if you're
night.
looking for encouraging signs with the coaching change, don't look at the record because that ain't going to be it.
No, but since they made the change,
He has been reopened, you know?
they're using him more.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he performed last night. Like, he looked like he belonged. Had some stuff to him. Had the big block on Draymond on one end. Is like a big lob target for Ja.
Yeah.
Found him one time, didn't find him the other time, and it resulted in a turnover. And we should say, like, Ja was awesome. He did have, like, some costly turnovers.
We just got to work on when we catch that ball, go up. Go up. Like, don't just right when it touches your hands, go up with it.
Yeah, so that's an encouraging sign. If
Yeah.
you're looking for things to be encouraged by, Zach Edey has looked like he's found himself a little bit, or more likely, possibly.
I'm encouraged.
The new
I'm encouraged.
interim coach has decided to emphasize Zach Edey in maybe a way that Taylor Jenkins had moved away from. I'll let them decide what the truth is, but your point is true. He's being used more. He looks more effective. He looks comfortable. He looked like he was a part of. He hasn't always in recent weeks looked like he was a part of something. He looked like he was a part of something good last night. He looked like he had, good chemistry with his teammates. Again, Ja was really looking for him. Sometimes beautifully. Other times, it resulted in a turnover. There was the one lob that was a turnover. He ended up with 6 in the game. But yeah, Zach Edey looked good last night, and that's an encouraging sign.
Yeah.
Next up, Heat tomorrow night. Chris Vernon be in studio next.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second-chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals takes it straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Anticipate each challenge. Make a quick response. Capitalize on every opportunity. And win. Greatness won't wait. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
I never in a million years would have ever thought that John Cena's final run would be as a heel.
I love it.
I love it.
Once they saw this from The Rock,
They knew it. Everybody knew it except for Cody, which was so good.
Great camera work by
And then the
WWE.
kick.
yeah, I don't think WWE gets enough credit for the camera work and the production quality. I mean, it is incredible.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. Chris Vernon is the host of the Chris Vernon Show, weekdays noon, Grind City Media. He joins me on Wednesdays. He's here right now. Hey, Chris Vernon, look at you.
Man,
look at you.
I can't believe you're in the studio.
It's nice to be here.
This is crazy.
I'll be here for another 15 minutes. And then it's back to the airport. But it's good to be here. It's nice. I was home for maybe 35 hours or so, but it was nice to be home for 35 hours. And we were talking off air, like, you know, this is what it is. And then I'll fly home next Tuesday. And
You're done.
I'll put my suitcase up and get back to trying to live a normal life. But for now, I
hope I get to keep on working for a while. My season keeps getting shorter. I'm like, come on, bro.
Start to think your season's not going to last much longer than mine.
Come on.
Disappointed you didn't bring the Grumpy Grizzly over here to the little studio.
I didn't bring it.
What are we going to do? Make me feel better. Can you make me feel better?
Yeah. I'll try.
Okay.
So you've played 3 games since you made the move from Taylor Jenkins.
Mm-hmm.
John Morant has been infinitely more engaged and much better.
Yes.
The 2 games. So, all right. How do I do this, Bennett? Try to make it feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You played 3 of those games, and your best player has been back to being the guy.
Sure.
That's good.
Yes.
The middle game, I believe, was against a team that will win the title. Okay?
Right, so you're just losing to them. You're probably just losing no matter what.
All right, so you lost to the best team in the world in Boston.
Gotcha.
The other 2, you scored 125 points and 127 points.
Right.
And you lost both of those. If I told you, bro, just give up 124.
Right.
Just give up 126. These things that's still not good,
right,
but it's doable. It's doable. So what I would say is you lost those 3 games, one of which, so I think I watched the Lakers and the Warriors game and thought, there ain't a huge gulf here. When you play Oklahoma City, when you played against Cleveland, when you played against Boston, and this is true of generally the rest of the league, there's a huge gulf. Like, those teams have been much better than the rest of the teams.
Right.
Okay? Because even if you go down to the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference, they are having all the same conversations on a daily basis as Grizzlies fans.
Knicks fans,
except it's gone the wrong way.
Knicks fans talk just like Grizzlies fans.
Right.
Yes.
They just can't beat a good team.
Right.
And it's like our record is just based on beating a bunch of bad teams. And, you know, it's Jalen Brunson, you know, in the last 5 minutes or nothing. Either he's going to stand on his head or we're going to lose, right? Or Tibbs plays the guys too many minutes. Our guys play too few minutes. Like, it's literally the inverse, right? Okay, so that's a 3 seed. Okay, we just saw last night, right, the team that's been right up there. So most times if you tune in, most people don't have some great belief. In fact, Las Vegas doesn't have some great belief in literally the 2 seed in the Western Conference. Right. They're like plus 800
I looked at
to
that.
make the Western Conference
I looked
Finals.
at that 2 days ago, and I was like, I can't believe how far down the Rockets are.
Okay, so that's to win 2 rounds.
Right.
Okay. Last night, you had Denver losing a game to Minnesota in double overtime, while their best player scored 61 points.
Right.
They lost a game where their best player scored 61. So what I would say is, I watched the Laker game and I watched the Warriors game, and these are huge disappointments to lose those on your home floor, especially after you make a radical change. The dream world is you make a change in the coach and, oh, voila, now things have changed, right? But I will say that the Boston game is obviously depressing, but if I set that aside and I say, all right, They kick the hell out of everybody.
Right.
They're way better than everybody. They're one of the 3 teams in the league that has no questions about their capabilities once we get in 3 weeks.
And they know exactly who they are, and they know exactly what they're doing.
Right. And even these teams that have been better more recently, like, it's going to be interesting because if you look at the Lakers schedule and you look how difficult that is, and you look at the Rockets schedule and you look at the murderous, I mean, it is, they have a 5-game just murderous stretch coming up. And then the Lakers do as well. Really, really tough, right? That those teams could be, what I'm saying is there's 3 teams super confident in what they are and what they can do, and everybody else is kind of in that mix. And I watched both the Lakers game and the Warriors game and thought, I didn't think you're not in that group, right? Like, and generally over the course of the last 3 months, and this is why Taylor Jenkins is no longer on the sidelines, is that when you played anybody worth a crap, you weren't in that group.
That's right.
You weren't in the group of the teams that were good. You were getting beat by 15. You were down 25. You were getting run out of the building. Anytime you played anybody that was good, anytime you played a top 8 seed, you got ran out. And I think it's fair to say, and interestingly enough, in those 2 games, because you were mentioning Jaren, in those 2 games, both the Laker game and the Warrior game, you gave up monster first quarter scoring outputs to both of those teams. And he got 2 fouls early in both, right? So they both had that in common. And then you're uphill basically the whole game. So I would say that if you are looking for something positive, it is that they were right there against the Warriors and the Lakers. If you want to tell me they ain't even close to being able to compete with a team like the Celtics, okay. Right? But again, I don't think it matters who's on the sidelines. I don't think it matters. But I will say they were mega competitive in both of those games. And it is at least promising to think like, okay, here's a group of teams, right, that aren't the best teams, and they're all questioning themselves, us more than anyone. But at least we were like, I mean, it took Steph Curry scoring 52 last night. I mean, it was unbelievable.
No, it was a game.
Right? And they were in it.
It was a game, and
they didn't get run out.
No. I like the way you put that as it pertains to the defense stuff, because I've heard coaches talk about this before. When you got a team that's struggling in anything, the easiest, simplest, most vague thing you can say is be better at that thing, right?
Right.
So it's like you suck at defense. You suck on defense. You got to get better on defense. We got to be better defensively. Got to be better. Okay, but like at some point that didn't even mean anything.
Right.
You just hear it's like if your kid's struggling at school and the only thing you ever say to them is you got to be better at school tomorrow.
Yep.
It's not going to work. You got to get more specific with it. Bruce Pearl did this with Tahad Pettiford at Auburn. He has never asked Tahad Pettiford to come in and be a great defensive player. You know what he actually says when he talks about Tahad Pettiford? I wanted him to come off the bench, do what you do. Don't try to be a point guard. Don't try to share the ball. Just come in and score. And you are who you are. Guard a little bit. Just give me a little. That's good enough. He never tried to set a standard that wasn't obtainable in the player's mind. I don't think you can look at the Grizzlies, broadly speaking, and say, all right, guys, we got to be better defensively. That doesn't work. Can you say, hey, guys, here's the good news. Flip it around just like you did.
Yeah.
Here's the good news. We don't have to be that much better defensively.
No, we just have 125 points, bro. You got to be able to win.
We just got to do a little bit more. Hey, people keep saying we got to be better defensively. Not that much.
Yeah.
Not that much.
No, you could give up 31 points a quarter.
Just flip it around and turn it into something that seems manageable in your head. That's a real thing that happens in coaching, and I think at this point I'd try anything, and that's what I'd be looking at Ja and everybody else and saying, do not listen to people say we've got to be good defensively. No, we don't.
Right.
We got to be a little better than what we are. Can you give up 28 in the first?
Right.
Give up 28 in the first and we'll be fine.
Instead of 45. I mean, those are both the Lakers and the Celtics numbers were huge. And in part, that's because Jaren got the 2 early fouls in both of those games. He has got to be able to be on the court.
And then the 5th foul, I talked about that in the opening set.
Horrible.
It's just ugh.
Horrible. I mean, we should be past that.
We should be past that.
We should be past that. This guy's been the Defensive Player of the Year, for God's sake.
Yeah, like it's not even anything we got to rank.
He's already been awarded as the best defender in the world.
Right.
That's already happened.
Like, it's not even something worth ranting about for 10 minutes. It's just like, he knows. He knows.
Of course he does.
It's just like I said yesterday, his little 10-second clip that went viral from the locker room 2 nights ago.
Yep.
He knows that's not a good look. He does. You don't have to say that. Let me talk to you about the coaching situation. I think we all understand why it happened. Whether it will be effective and change things, we'll see. But, like, I understood it.
Sure.
Do you believe that they believe the person who's going to coach them next year is in place right now? And if so, can he screw that up?
I certainly would be surprised given the buyout. You know, they had to buy him out of his, so, I mean, they obviously targeted this guy, wanted this guy.
That's right.
And so I think it stands to reason. And the other thing is you brought him in without some prior relationship to your head coach. Right. And that was always that, look, in the end, I've covered all of these teams for 20 years. It's always a sign, right? Like, David Fizdale didn't choose necessarily J.B. Bickerstaff, and Lionel Hollins was left with Dave Yeager.
Right.
And so there's always anytime there's another guy that, like, shows up,
I'm not
that's
speaking,
not the choice of the head coach.
Here's the thing. I'm not speaking about what's right or wrong, good or bad.
But anytime that happens.
I'm telling you, if I were Taylor Jenkins, the second that happened to me, I'm getting wildly uncomfortable.
Of course, especially when you had to fire 5 of your guys.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, I mean, that's just the way it is, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think I do not to the first question. Do I think he could screw it? Or do I think that they intend on Tomas? I think, yes. I would imagine they would expect him to be the head coach being able to go forward. The second question, can he screw it up? No, right? It's 9 games. So there's no, right? The idea is if you believe that this is the guy that can be the head coach of the Grizzlies and the players respond to him the rest of the way in a decent way, and you think that if he takes over and he installs his staff and he can put together, that you have a great belief in him as a head coaching candidate and his head coaching acumen, right? That you bring him into the fold and you're not going to be basing what his success or failure in 9 games because he's not going to be able to do, as he has said and as they have said over and over again. You can't change much in 9 games, bro.
I get. What if you reach the conclusion, because I agree with you completely. I think they were planning on him being the head coach. I think they were, on some level, probably always imagining there's a chance he could be the next head coach who replaces our current head coach. I do think if you forget the record, but if you come out of these 9 games and whatever happens in the postseason and, oh, wow, they don't respond to him. They don't respect him. Mm-hmm. Ja seems even more frustrated than he was in February. Then I think you got to look at that, don't you?
Maybe, but I mean, I think that you're probably looking for somebody else that is going to be on the same page as you. You know, one of the things about this one and the reason that Taylor Jenkins had his job for 6 years is there was always this inference that they're all kind of pulling the same rope. They're all looking at the same stats. They're all in agreement on how things should be done and whatever else. And I think that was probably the truth with Taylor Jenkins generally until the end. And then it becomes, okay. I don't understand how there was a breaking of ways because they were always, it always felt like, what they talked about so much was collaborative. Right. And it's like, it's almost like if we all decided to do a group project and then we were in there and then the group project fails then or starts to go the wrong way, at that point we were all working on this one thing, but then as soon as it starts going bad, it's like then everybody starts
that's exactly
right?
That's exactly what happened.
Right. But they were always like collaborative, and so then you just find the new guy that's going to be collaborative. Right. And so a young guy who is getting his first job in the NBA, much like Taylor Jenkins, I mean, what would surprise me, I think that's the mode of operation they'll go. I think that's the way they will go because they want it to be collaborative. Right. That's one of the things that they've talked about. Everybody pulling the same rope. It's the reason you don't bring in Mike Brown because Mike Brown's going to say, get your stupid stat. I got it.
Right.
I understand the stats. Enough.
Right.
Right? I'm playing this guy. I'm playing that guy.
Like, you
I'm
take
trying to win tonight. Right?
Like, you hire Ime Udoka.
Right.
You just get out of his way.
That's it.
Right.
That's it. And they could sit there and they could say, well, we sure do wish you were developing Reed Shepherd. He's like, shut up.
Right.
I'm the 2 seed, right?
Right.
You know, I don't think they want that.
No, but they wanted the
never
collaboration. But here's what happens. Everybody is on board to collaborate.
Until.
That's
right.
So then you know what happens? First off, you're
who's to blame?
You're going 2 seed back-to-back years. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, then you lose to the Lakers, but like Ja got hurt. That was Dillon Brooks was popping off. We'll get rid of him. Everything's fine. Then last season, suspension, all those injuries. Nobody's even really trying to blame anybody. It just sucks. Everything's fine. We're still working together. Then this season comes.
And you can't blame the players.
So then it's like,
right?
Then the rotations become a conversation. The minutes for star players become a conversation. The status reports become a conversation. Taylor Jenkins is the one having to answer most of the questions about it. You don't want every time somebody's saying, "Why don't our players play as much?" You don't know where.
Well, and that becomes a huge argument, right?
Then it becomes an
argument. Becomes why are these players not coming out? And after you have 3 days off after you played against LA, you came out. And before Will Hardy starts sitting on his guys, they give up 22 points in the first 4 minutes to Utah.
Right.
It's like, okay, that's after 3 days of you guys obviously talking. So I don't think that, I think there's a lot of times where there's some kind of, and in fact, every coach I've ever covered here, there's a final clash that goes on, right? There's some kind of clash that goes on with the front office and the coach. And I would be absolutely floored to ever find out that there was a clash that went on. I don't think Taylor Jenkins went off rogue with his rotations and the minutes guys play and the use of this guy, whatever. I don't think that fractured so badly that he started doing other stuff. It just wasn't working, and they weren't responding.
But when it stops working, it's much easier. We do a big draft show. It's me, you, and Jessica.
Right.
And we all do it, and you take the lead role on it. And then for whatever reason, it just goes off the rails, and it's not good. And somebody's like, man, that was kind of a mess today, GP. I'll be like, well, Vernon took the lead on it. And I was trying to plan it. It's just, so I can,
the way it goes.
I'm not saying any of these conversations actually happened. I'm just saying these are the types of things that can happen. Somebody says, well, man, if it was up to me, I'd be playing Jaren Jackson 38 minutes a game. But it ain't up to me. Right. And then somebody else says, if it's up to me, I would have never drafted Zach Edey. I don't want this. But it ain't up to, and then it's just constant. And then it's,
and that's probably true. And look,
and then the front office is like, well, if the guy would just do this instead of this, then we would have handled this. And everybody is now blaming either silently or not the other side, and then it gets ugly.
And
it gets ugly.
And look, you could play the Taylor Jenkins side of this, though the fan base turned on him dramatically. If you're playing the Taylor Jenkins side, you're going, look, you fired all of my guys.
Yes.
You made me fire all of my guys.
The Taylor Jenkins story is so easy to tell as you're trying to get your next job.
You made me fire all of them. Yeah. I start 2 rookies, and then we got to the trade deadline, and instead of making us better, you made us worse.
Easy. Such an easy story to tell.
You've done every step of the way have been multiple steps to decrease the confidence in me.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Who is going to, you know what I mean? Players are smart.
Right.
That was one of the big quotes in Ramona Shelburne's article, which is totally fair, which was, players smart, man. They look around and they go, wait, hold on now. We got 2 new guys teaching us the offense now, and what's... And so I think that if you're him, you're going, yeah, okay, maybe at some point they stop listening to my voice and stop responding to me because they know, they're not stupid. Right. They look around too.
You got me. You got me. You took my feet out from underneath.
That's right.
You took my legs.
That's right.
That's the way he feels.
Sure.
And yet, I promise you take Zach and pull him aside. Go over there to Starbucks, a cup of coffee, and say, all right, we're off the record. Now let me hear your story. He could convince you his story just as good as that one.
Well, you know what you could say? And this would be the easy part. Right. They were up in the top 5, top 10 in defense.
Right.
Who's different?
Right.
They stopped playing.
Right.
What can I change?
Right.
You know what I mean? I can't walk in there and fire 12 guys.
Right. Right.
You tell me. We were in the top, this same group was capable of being a good defensive team. And now they are totally incapable of doing that.
Right.
How?
It's one of those where both sides are 100% sure they're on the right side of it.
They are.
And the other side's on the wrong side of it. And here's the truth. I can understand both sides of it. Of course. I can understand both sides.
Yes, and I think that, but going forward, I think if you are Tuomas, you pull from that and you go, look, man, like we just played 3 games and okay, like the Celtics are a different animal. But those 2 games against teams that we would have to be, that are supposed to be our playoff peers, those teams aren't that much better than us.
Right.
Like, we just proved we're right there. Like, for the last couple of months, we kept proving we weren't right there. That those teams were way better than us. That everybody that had a pulse beat us by double digits.
Right.
Like, dude, you had your chances. You got to clean up this, and this. And we still got these amount of games left to make sure that we don't have to play our way into this thing. Right?
Last thing before I get you out of here. I was talking to somebody else about this. And we just watched the NCAA tournament. Arkansas, terrible. Felt bad the whole season. Just felt uneven the whole season. Yep. And then they got to the Sweet 16, and everybody was like, man, okay, this is kind of fun. Like, we're here. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Can an NBA season be flipped like that?
100%.
Okay.
Yes. 100%. I've seen it both ways. I've seen it both directions, right? Where an NBA season was really good, and then it ended so badly
that they fired the coach in Toronto.
Well, no. I'm talking about here with that Clippers series when we were up by 30-something in the fourth quarter, 20-something in the fourth quarter, and lost. You end up losing that series on a Game 7 in the first round. It's like, dude, what just happened? Right. What? How? Why did we lose that series? And so that happens. And then on the other hand, I will say that we were really, really close to the Fizdale thing flipping. They lost in 6 to the Spurs. But there was a moment in time where Marc Gasol hits the game winner. Kawhi Leonard turned into Michael Jordan. But at that point, you were having to guard him with the likes of Wayne Selden and Andrew Harrison and whoever else, because Tony Allen had gotten hurt in game 82. But that one could have flipped. You know what I mean? That one could have been – you could end up feeling a lot better about that season than you did. I was
just thinking, this has felt bad for a while, but let's say you somehow sneak into the top 6. And then you're into first-round series with...
Or 7. 7's probably more likely.
Okay, let's say you're 7 then, but you're 7, and then you get into a first-round series with the Rockets.
Oh, yeah, you could win.
And then you
can win. It's their first time through.
And you eliminate Dylan Brooks, and Ja goes crazy, and we look up, and we're like, this is always where we're supposed to be.
That's right.
That can happen.
No, 100% it can happen. You just got to be in the mix.
Okay, that's what I'm going to pray for then.
Yeah.
I'm going to start praying for that specifically.
Yeah, I don't want to have to play in, so.
I would prefer not to play in.
And the Rockets actually could fall down. I mean, look at their schedule. I mean, they got 5 in a row that are just. I mean, so there's
but they got a little 2-game cushion.
There's some of these teams, right? No. I'm saying that they could. But the teams behind them could flip the standings on them. I mean, you look at somebody like the Clippers, what they got going forward. When you look at Minnesota's schedule going forward, there's some of these teams that could end on pretty significant win streaks. And so if you were to drop 4 or 5, that thing gets flipped on you real fast because these other teams are going 6-1, 7-1, 7-0, whatever it may be. And the Grizzlies are in peril of that as well, right? They got to find a way to. I said 48. I thought 48 would make you safe. Well, that was with 9 games left to go, and they've lost the first 3. So now they got to go 4-2.
4-2 to get to 48.
Correct.
And then, of course, Timberwolves next Thursday. That could dictate a lot.
Absolutely.
All right, Chris Vernon will be in studio in an hour and 10 minutes across the hall. It's the Chris Vernon Show, noon, Grind City Media. We come back, turn our attention. PJ Haggerty was named CBS Sports All-American today, voting by a panel of writers and analysts. I'll tell you who our National Player of the Year is, Coach of the Year. We'll do all that next, talk about the transfer portal. It's the Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South.
In honor of George Foreman, decided to do a pick 6 on 6 greatest heavyweight boxers of all time.
Number 4, my guy, Mike Tyson. There is no greater feat that I've had. Like, if I had my Mount Rushmore of things that I've accomplished in my life, the very first time I beat Mike Tyson in Mike Tyson Punch-Out.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping. It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
We're going to need, the Forum rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane 3, yes sir! Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
The new issue of Slam, the cover dropped, and it is our friend Jaren Jackson Jr. on the cover.
And shout out to you, Lane.
Yeah.
You kept. Well, I mean, we knew about it, but you kept this a secret the whole time.
Yeah.
So shout out to you. For
I wrote
putting
this story.
together.
We did the photo shoot a couple weeks ago here on a Sunday afternoon in the practice court. The Sneak Fest show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now, I've got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Congratulations to Memphis guard P.J. Haggerty. He has been today named a second-team All-American by a panel of voters at CBS Sports. That means P.J. Haggerty is a CBS Sports second-team All-American. Nothing big breaking news here. He's mostly been considered a second or third team All-American by most publications. Hasn't really cracked that first team thing. That's tough to do because 3 of those spots are like locked up for 3 players who are in the Final Four. Cooper Flagg at Duke, Janai Broome at Auburn, Walter Clayton at Florida. Our other first teamers at CBS Sports were JT Toppin from Texas Tech and Braden Smith from Purdue. So the 5 players, first team All-American, CBS Sports. It is the ACC Player of the Year, the Big 12 Player of the Year, the Big 10 Player of the Year, the SEC Player of the Year, and the person who is the de facto SEC runner-up Player for the Year. That pushes everybody else down to either second or third team. PJ Haggerty, second team, which means, oh, buddy, it's just a reminder, he's going to cost a lot if you want him back on your basketball team. We talked about this a little bit, I guess it was Monday maybe? Perhaps yesterday, because Yaxel Lindeborg, the all-conference player out of the AAC from UAB, has entered the transfer portal. And there's some reports that he's going to generate a bidding war, creating offers that could exceed 2.5, even $3 million.
Makes sense.
So if somebody who's not the AAC Player of the Year can get $2.5 or $3 million in the transfer portal, what do you think the AAC Player of the Year, PJ Haggerty, can get in the transfer portal?
Yeah, I mean, I think $3 million makes a lot of sense. I think that might be your starting point.
I don't know if that'll be the starting point. Who knows? I will say,
I think being here also helps. Like, I think Memphis gets,
there's perhaps, and this does happen in professional sports, and this is professional sports now. There is a such thing as a so-called hometown discount.
Yes.
Where you're like, hey, I just don't want to move. I like it here. I'm happy.
I had a lot of success
I had a lot of success here. I love my coach. I was going to say love my teammates. You don't really know who your teammates are going to be. But, like, I like FedEx Forum. I like beating up on the Owls.
Yeah.
AAC's the place for me. I'll take less to stay here. That does happen in college basketball, but people ain't taking $1 million less to stay somewhere or $1.5 million less to stay somewhere. The way it's been explained to me by coaches is that if you are in the ballpark financially, then the other stuff starts to matter. The other stuff that used to matter in recruiting, this is all you used to hear about recruiting. It's about playing time and national TV appearances and how close you're to home so your family can see you, facilities, tradition, blah, blah, blah. Now it's money. And then if the money's the same, then we can start talking about that stuff. If the money's in the same ballpark, now we're going to talk about, all right, what is my position going to be? What's my role going to be? Do I start or not start? What's our practice facility look like? It'd just be like you, Bennett. Let's say you're a producer, because you are.
I am, yes.
So let's keep this real. You're a producer, and you have 2 job offers, all right? And one of them is for, I'm just making up numbers here, but one of them is for $500,000 a year, all right?
That sounds awesome.
Okay? Just to produce a stupid podcast.
That sounds great.
$500,000 a year. Yeah. And the other one is for $200,000 a year.
That sounds good, too.
You take either one.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, here's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't care how much you like the one that is offering you $200,000. You're not taking that one. You can love the person who runs the station that is offering $200,000 and love the people there and love the show you've been working on.
Yeah.
But if this other place is offering you $500,000, like, you're probably going to have to go. Unless it means, like, relocating your whole family and you got to do a bunch of stuff that you don't want to do. But if it's just like, it's either this job or that job.
I'd give you a hometown discount.
I appreciate that.
I'd give you a hometown discount for sure.
I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah.
Might take you up on that someday, but I hope we don't have to. Hope we don't have to. It didn't matter how much you like the one thing. It's like, yo, it's a lot of money, and you only have so much time to make this money.
Yes.
Particularly when you're a college athlete, we got to go. So my point is this. Just because Yaxel might generate offers that exceed $2 million doesn't necessarily mean PJ will as well, even though PJ's the better basketball player. And it's just a difference in position. There's a bunch of little guards out there running around.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and Yaxel's an NBA player, borderline.
In theoretically,
yes.
He just plays on the front court.
Yeah,
he's a bigger
gotcha.
player.
Yeah,
there's not as many of them as there are of, like, little guards who can go out and get buckets. PJ might be the best of them, but there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
So they don't cost as much, broadly speaking. But he's still going to cost a lot. And this latest award is just a reminder of that. Whatever they spent on him to get him to enroll at Memphis, it's going to almost certainly cost a lot more to get him to remain at Memphis. Ultimately, I think they'll get it done.
I do too. I mean, I think there's some good signs. One, he hasn't entered the transfer portal. Like, I think if money means all, which we know how important it is, I think if it's about, I just want the highest offer I can possibly get, I think you would have already seen his name in the transfer portal.
Yes, except there's another way to go about this, and that is you just have an agent representing you, and that agent is reaching out to the staffs that they know have the biggest NIL packages in the sport.
Oh, okay.
And so you have your agent reach out to somebody at Alabama, to somebody at Indiana, to somebody at Arkansas, to somebody at Kentucky, to somebody at Auburn, to somebody at Michigan. Oh, by the way, ask PJ Haggerty, hey, you ever had a dream school? Like, if you could play anywhere you wanted to play, where would that be? Duke? Carolina? Yeah, I'll call him. Like, just, you could do all this behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And then, here's what I'm telling you. If you ever see PJ Haggerty get in the transfer portal, just know that those conversations have already happened.
I got you.
In other words, a lot of people think of this backwards. If he gets in the transfer portal, then what's going to happen? More often than not, you know what it is? The whatever is happening is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see him get in the transfer portal, that means, okay, we got an offer that I think I'm going to want to take.
Yeah.
In other words, behind the scenes, all this stuff could be going on right now. And behind the scenes, you get a SEC coach or a Big 12 coach say, you know, if your guy got in the transfer portal, we got $2.2 million for a player of the year out of a AAC. You know, that we could make that work. If he's interested, wink, wink. Agent comes back to PJ. Hey, listen, I know you love Penny. I know you love Memphis. But they only gave you X amount of money last season. They're talking like they only got this much this season. I got this SEC school that says they can get you $2.2 million if you want to get in the portal. Should we get in now? What do you think? That's the way this stuff works.
I think, too, it helped. Like, I saw he posted he was here working out on campus last night.
All signs are good right now.
Yeah, I think, like, just the fact that you're here working out on your campus in the off season just kind of shows, like, there's a connection, at least, right?
Yes, there's a real connection. If he leaves Memphis, I do not believe it'll be because he doesn't want to be at Memphis anymore.
Right.
If he leaves Memphis, it'll be because something was placed in front of him that if you were his mother or his father or his guardian or somebody who cared about him, you would tell him,
can't pass this up.
You can't pass this up. If he leaves Memphis, I bet you it'll be for something like that. But either way, congratulations. Second team CBS Sports All-American. And if you're curious, the CBS Sports National Player of the Year, it is Duke's Cooper Flagg. It was not unanimous. There was a Janai Broom vote among the panelists, but Cooper Flagg is your winner. And then the CBS Sports National Coach of the Year, that's Kelvin Sampson at Houston in the Final Four. And on a 17-game winning streak, after winning an outright Big 12 title for the second straight year, inheriting a program that had done nothing of relevance for decades, and now it's in the Sweet 16 for the sixth straight year, for the Final Four for the second time in a 4-year span, and maybe, just maybe, 2 more wins away from a national championship.
Number 2.
Buzz Williams is on the move again. He has left Texas A&M and headed to Maryland. This is just the way he does it, man.
It is. Listen, I think that I don't know, because the thing that I see a lot is, well, he wears out his welcome pretty quickly, and so I don't know, man. And you know way more than I do. You know him, obviously, but it does seem like he gets ahead of things. Gets in front of things. Yes,
he's the most fascinating coach that I know well. His mind is different. It's an undiagnosed something.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let other people try to figure it out. And I'm not telling secrets. Buzz and I have talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not normal. Mm-hmm. His mind doesn't work the right way. I've told these stories before. When he got the job at Virginia Tech, and by get the job at Virginia Tech, I mean left Marquette for Virginia Tech. Mm-hmm. That is not something most people would do. Marquette's one of the best basketball brands that exist, and Virginia Tech at the time was a terrible ACC program. He left Marquette for Virginia Tech. I really went to Blacksburg, Virginia, and the whole premise was, I got to figure out why this guy did this. And I kind of knew, but I wanted to get him to talk about it because he had never talked about it. And I got him to talk about it. And it's a story where I really like that story. You could Google it if you care, but it's like Gary Parrish, Buzz Williams, Virginia Tech, Marquette. Steve Rockefeller's in the story, the former Memphis assistant. So those words should get you where you're trying to get to if you're interested. But I get up there to try to figure out, why did Buzz Williams do this? And as we're talking through it, we're, I think, at his home. And he's just going through these boxes of stuff. Like, it looks like an attic, which is more or less what it was, just a room with boxes of stuff. And they're just journals. He's been documenting his entire life. Like, he can show you paycheck stubs from Marquette, but also show you a check from a person he cut grass when he was 16 years old. He has everything. Every penny he's ever made is documented in a notebook somewhere. At one point, he's showing me all this stuff in a notebook, and I see it just very quickly. He's flipping pages. I see a list of all the presidents of the United States in order. 1, George Washington. 2, on down through wherever we were at the time, maybe Barack Obama. And I'm like, hold up, what was that? He's like, oh, that's just a list of the presidents' names. I said, okay, but why do you have that written down in a notebook? He said, well, I just wanted to learn the presidents' names. I said, okay, but he's like, do you know all the presidents in order? was like, no. He's like, yeah.
I like that.
I said, no.
That's noble.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay, I said, no. And he said, have you ever wanted to? I said, no. I've never even thought about it. He's like, well, I was watching a movie, something, and presidents, and I was just like, I don't know all the presidents, so I should learn them. And so I just wrote them down, and then I study them. Like, when I'm just sitting here, I'll just study.
For some reason, that makes complete sense to me.
So he's going through, and he's like, okay, now you see this guy here. He was president. Then you might see somebody else was president. Then he comes back, and he's president again. So you're probably going, okay, what happened there? And it's like the Donald Trump thing almost, except fewer insurrections. Yeah. Okay? Right. But it's like that. And he's like, but he learned all this. And there's a million stories exactly like that. And what you pull from it, is that he gets obsessed with things. Like if he doesn't know something and he feels like he needs to, he gets obsessed with needing to. He's not the type who reads a book and puts it on the shelf. He reads a book, finds out who the author is.
Finds all their other books.
No, uses his resources to figure out how could I get in contact with this person.
Oh, that's cool.
And then writes them a long letter and then tries to see if he can get them on the phone with them because he wants to pick their brain. Like he will never just read a book. He wants to read a book and then talk to the author about it.
Go down the rabbit hole. Yeah.
Yes. This is the way. So in the spirit of all this, when he was at Marquette, here's the answer to the question. He did a study on college basketball coaches. All of them.
Okay.
And he said, okay. He looked at every coach at a program who stays a 7th year at a school. What happens? He said what he found in his study is that no matter where the program is when you take it over, if you don't do well, they'll fire you. If you do well, they stop thinking about where it was when you took it over. They reestablish new standards based on how you're doing. So it doesn't matter if I took over a school that was last place in my league. If I get it to 3rd place in my league, if I then slip to 6th place in my league, nobody looks at that 6 anymore and says it's better than last where you were. They just go 6 ain't as good as where you were last year. 3 and you're slipping. You ain't as good as you were. Now you're on the hot seat. So he said, okay, I had to look at this honestly. I was at Marquette for 6 years. I went to 5 NCAA tournaments, 3 Sweet 16s, 1 Elite 8 in 6 years. What are the odds that I or anybody replicates that over the next 6? Not good. It's not good. You're going to go to 316. You go into Sweet 16 every other year at Marquette as we're losing our ESPN contract and going to FS1. So now we're losing visibility in recruiting, all that stuff. He said, here's what I think. I think I'm good at doing this. I also think even a good person might not be able to do what I just did for the previous 6 years. It's going to be hard to replicate. And when I don't, they're not going to say, yeah, it's just hard to do that. They're going to say, man, what's wrong? He used to go to the Sweet 16 every year. Now he's not doing it. He ain't been there in 2 straight years. Now I'm on a hot seat. No way, buddy. Virginia Tech's a mess right now. But I can get them to give me a 6-year guaranteed contract. I can take it from the bottom to the middle, and they'll just keep giving me contract extensions. So I'm gone. After 6 years, he left Marquette, went to Virginia Tech, did the exact same thing. And after 5 years, left for Texas A&M, and now at Texas at A&M, after 6 years, does the exact same thing. Don't stay too long where they get tired of you. Get out while it's still good. Take over something bad, build it into something good, and before they can even finish patting you on the back to tell you how good of a job you've done, get on to the next thing. And eventually you're 60 years old and it's time to retire. That's his approach. That's his approach. Either he will fail at Maryland or he will coach Maryland 5, 6, 7 years.
He will not fail.
And bounce somewhere else. One of the two.
But he'll be in the NCAA tournament next year.
He probably.
He's always in it.
And here's the other thing working for him, and this is what he knows. What happened to Maryland just now? They just lost their coach. Their coach just said, I'm going to another school. I'm going to another school because I don't think you guys give me enough. So you know what they're going to give the next guy?
Enough.
Everything.
Yep.
To try to show Kevin Willard, what? You think the Villanova job's better than the Maryland job?
We're Maryland, yeah.
We're Maryland. Watch this. They're going to set Buzz up to win. He knows all this.
Yeah.
He's just really, really, really smart. Brilliant guy. Interesting, fascinating guy. And now he's off to be the next head coach of the Maryland Terrapins.
Number 3.
The music festival.
Okay.
At the Final Four has been announced.
No clue about this. No idea.
This is another thing people should know. You people should know this.
Yeah.
If you ever, that's a bucket list thing. Every year I am at the Final Four without exception.
Didn't you see Taylor Swift?
We were supposed to, and it got canceled. But that's how big.
You saw Katy Perry.
I've seen Katy Perry, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of big stars there. So, every year I'm at the Final Four. Somebody will come by our set and be like, "Hey, GP," and I'll look up and they'll go, "Hey, we're from Memphis. We're just here." You know,
Sure.
And the people do just go to the Final Four, even if their favorite team's not there. It's not just about the basketball. Like, there's a 3-day music festival that's just free.
That's awesome.
Just free. You just walk in, and I have seen Katy Perry, Bruce Springsteen.
That's sick.
I mean,
bucket list for me.
You name it. Like big acts.
Love the boss.
Like the all range of stuff. Black Keys, Kid Rock, Ludacris, just big music festival. And it's completely free. They do it every year. The Taylor Swift one was supposed to be after the Lover album. She was going to play the 2020 Final Four in Atlanta.
COVID
got canceled. But that would have been her first performance after the Lovers album, and it would have been. She did nothing between Lovers and the Eras tour,
right?
Or the Lover album and the Eras tour. She did nothing in between there. That was going to be the first thing she did after that album, and then it got canceled. That was I remember being as disappointed in that, or people broadly being. The Final Four got canceled. Taylor Swift got a free Taylor Swift concert. That's what it was going to be.
Damn.
And it got canceled. But so anyway, they announced yesterday, free concert, big Faldor Festival.
Who we got?
Chris Stapleton.
Check.
Jelly Roll.
Okay, shout out Jelly Roll. I mess with Jelly Roll.
I mess with Jelly Roll.
He likes Memphis.
Yeah.
Like that's what I...
Seemed like a good dude.
Yeah.
How about this? A few years ago.
He shouts out Memphis a lot.
Several years ago, we went to a show at Grayson Live. All right? I don't even remember what it was. But we went to a show at Grayson Live. We took an Uber there. We got dropped off. And as we were getting dropped off, there was like signs, like billboards still up from literally the night before. And the Uber driver was like, "Yeah, this was crazy last night." And I was like, "Wow, what was going on last night?" And he said, "Fella named Jelly Roll." And I was like, "Okay." And I did not know what he was talking about.
Dude, I'll never forget,
it was Jelly Roll at Grayson Live.
Bro, this is probably...
Yeah. And now he's the biggest thing. He's
dude, this is probably over 10 years ago. I'm talking to Lil White at Italian Fest, and he's like, "I just recorded a song with Jelly Roll."
Right.
And I was like, "Who's Jelly Roll?" And
the same deal. It was like, I don't remember how long ago it was, but I remember being dropped off at Grayson Live for a show, and there was like a Jelly Roll. And the guy was like, "Yeah, Jelly Roll just played here last night." I was like, "Who was that?" He's like, "I don't know, but that's who it was." But like, he's playing a little bitty Grayson Live. And now he's the biggest deal in the world.
How about that?
Chris Stapleton's amazing live.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
You don't even have to like Chris Stapleton to be like, "Man, that guy can sing."
I've met him.
Okay. This is the one I'm looking forward to. Doechii.
Okay, that's damn, they're doing...
I mean, that's huge. I mean, she just won a Grammy.
She's big right now.
She just won a Best Rap Album Grammy. So T-Pain will be there. Nathaniel Rateliff in the Night Sweat.
Nice.
Benson Boone, blah, blah, blah. But
he's coming here.
Big festival. Chris Stapleton is probably the biggest thing there. Jelly Roll, Doechii, Pitbull also expected to perform. T-Pain. So it should be fun. And if you're in San Antonio, maybe I'll see you there.
T-Pain did a cover of Black Sabbath's War Pigs.
Awesome.
And it's so good. It's so good.
You
have to go listen to that.
He's like sort of remade his image and career with that and podcasting. And he's like,
he's self-deprecating. That's why he's good.
He's doing stuff.
Yes.
I think I saw him. I think it was him. He was on a plane and he was like posting from a commercial plane. He was flying to Vegas to do something. It was a job. He's going to Vegas to do some job. And he was posted from the Delta flight, the same one I'd be on. And apparently people got in his mentions and were like, "Why is T-Pain in a commercial flight? Why didn't you go in private?" And he was like, he gets on there, like exactly what you're talking about. Just he's like, "Do y'all not understand math? Like, who do you think I am?" like he didn't put numbers on it, but it was like, if I wanted to take a private plane from here to Vegas, it would cost $120,000. I'm not even making $120,000 to go do what I'm doing.
Right.
Like, I guess it's cool that all these rappers are on private planes, but they're going to be broke when they're 27.
Yes.
Okay? I'm trying to, have a 401k.
Yep.
So I'm just going to sit in Delta 3C, and I'll be fine. He seems very likable.
Yeah.
He seems capable of, seems to understand who he is. I like that about people.
I do, too.
I like T-Pain. He'll be there. I'm going to see him, I think.
Number 4.
Have you been following this Rafael Devers thing?
What's going on?
Okay, so he's playing your Baltimore Orioles today.
Yes. Let's go ahead and get the series. Come on.
He is off to one of the worst starts in the history of baseball.
I love it. I hate the Red Sox, bro.
So for people who don't follow baseball, Rafael Devers is 28 years old. He's a 3-time All-Star.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just understand Jaren Jackson's like mid-20s, 2-time All-Star.
Mm-hmm.
You know how awesome Jaren Jackson is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mid-20s, 3-time All-Star. Okay, this is who this guy is.
Yep.
It's not apples to apples, but just for the sake of the conversation,
you.
if you don't follow baseball, think of Jaren Jackson Jr. as a baseball player.
Okay.
In game 1 of this season, he went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Game 2, 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. Game 3, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Game 4, 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Game 5, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. It is quite literally one of the least effective first 5 games in the history of Major League Baseball. He is standing in a baseball hitter's box with a bat, and he can't touch the ball, even though he's in his prime, 28-year-old, 3-time All-Star. That must mess with your head.
And it ain't like we got the best pitching.
He is the first player to strike out 10 times in a first 3 games of a season, and then it just kept getting worse. He struck out 3 times in the first 3 games and then just kept doing it. He's setting records, but not the good kind.
You hate to see it.
Baseball's hard, man.
Baseball's hard. It's a long season.
I really do think it happens to baseball players more than you see it happen to people in other sports. It just goes away. Cody Bellinger was an MVP and then couldn't hit the next year. In his 20s, it just you're the best hitter in baseball, at least by the voting, at least according to the NL voters.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next year you can't hit.
Because I think it's of the 3 big sports, football, baseball, basketball, it's by far the most mental, right?
I think golf's pretty mental.
Oh yeah. But I mean,
it's by far the most difficult. There is nothing more difficult than hitting in a box and trying to hit a baseball in sports.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything more difficult than that. You could go to the batting cages every day for the next 5 years. I'll put you in a batter's box against a major league pitcher. You ain't touching that ball ever. And I don't mean you. I mean me. I mean any of us. You could pick up a basketball and make a shot every once in a while. You ain't hitting. You ain't
anything.
You ain't hitting.
You're not
Paul
hitting against
Skeens.
the worst pitcher yet.
Yeah.
Right.
No. It's hard. It's hard for them. Again, this is the whole classic thing. The best hitters in the world hit 280. They fell 7 out of 10 times. All right? It's hard. And it's especially hard for Rafael Devers. We'll see if he can get it turned around. Red Sox, Orioles. Series restarts today.
Number 5.
Rest in peace, Val Kilmer.
Oh,
that was sad, wasn't it?
Man, this was sad to see.
65 years old. According to his daughter, died after a case of pneumonia. He, of course, had been diagnosed with throat cancer. Had really struggled in his final years.
Yes.
This is a man who
lost his voice.
Yep. This is a man who was a sex symbol.
Dude, he's one of my favorite actors. Well, was one of my favorite actors. He doesn't have a massive filmography of just stuff.
He's played some pretty memorable characters.
Some really great characters. Yeah, man. Okay, so I wrote some of them down. He's in some of my favorite movies ever: Willow, True Romance, Tombstone, Batman Forever, Heat. Dude, he's The Doors, Jim Morrison.
He played Jim Morrison. Yeah. That was huge when I was young. The Tombstone character is obviously massive. Those are 2 of his more memorable ones. But, I mean, he played Batman, for crying out loud. Then Top Gun. And
such an underrated Batman.
I love that they brought him back for that second Top Gun in such a limited and reduced and
his last role. Yep.
But I love that they brought him back. That meant something. I don't know. I don't mean to get hokey, but I thought that was sweet.
It was awesome.
I thought it was sweet. So I don't know what the lesson is other than don't take anything for granted because this guy, you wanted to be this guy.
Yeah.
This guy was on posters and you were like, man, I wish I was, man, Val Kilmer, look at that. That's exactly what you're supposed to look like.
Roles. Bottom right, Mad Mardigan from Willow.
And then
great movie.
And then when you see him in his 60s, man, 65 years old, that's young. That's a young man.
Yeah. He put out a great documentary. It's called Val.
And,
it's so good.
I never saw it, but I did hear about
it
and heard it was terrific.
It's like him. It's like it's all this footage. He just carried a camcorder around and just kind of documented his life and his journey. It's really good. Yeah.
Sad stuff to wake up to this morning. I guess I knew things had not been going well, but still, 65 years old. That's too young for anybody.
Yes.
Sad stuff. Val Kilmer. Gone at 65. Be back with GP's Carryout.
Debo traded from San Francisco to the Commanders for a 5th-round pick. There's no other sport where you would get a player of his ilk for a 5th-round pick.
Over under total yards for Debo. If they set it at 1,000, you think he hits that over?
Total yards?
Total yards from scrimmage. Total yards.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
I need cameras to capture every waking moment between Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston on the same team. The pregame prayers will be generational.
Because that's preacher and a deacon. That's what we're talking about here. That prayer's going to be 40 minutes. We're going to miss the anthem.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
Whole bunch of stuff, but we mostly focused on your Memphis Grizzlies. John Morant went big last night, but not as big as Steph Curry. He got 52. 12 of 20 from beyond the arc, the greatest shooter the world's ever known. Certainly looked like it last night inside FedEx Forum. So the Grizzlies are now 0-3 since the coaching change, 44-32 overall, tied for 6th in the Western Conference standings, 0-12 in their past 12 games against teams with winning records, heading into tomorrow night's game with the Miami Heat. It's no longer that the play-in is possible. We have now reached the point where
it's likely.
According to projections, it is a likely scenario. Don't know exactly how we ended up here, but this is where we're at. Hopefully things get better ASAP.
What's today's biggest game?
Let's go to Cleveland, Rocket Arena.
Okay.
6 o'clock tip on ESPN. It's the Knicks and the Cavaliers. Cavs are 60-15 atop the Eastern Conference standings. They're going to be the 1 seed ahead of the Boston Celtics, even if Boston is the favorite to win the East. Cleveland, 10.5-point favorite tonight, total 229.5. Nikola Jokic couldn't get it done for you last night, Bennett. So you took an L, but you're still doing pretty good. I want to focus on the positive.
Stupid ending. God, that hurt us too.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
208, 194, and 4 is your record. Negative 6.8 units. How you going to act tonight? Cavs minus 10.5.
So when I saw it, I was like, why? I mean, this is two good teams playing each other. And I know Cleveland's the best team in the East, but it's because the Knicks injury report is large. They're not going to have their point guard. They might not have their backup point guard. So I'm going to say I'll take the Cavs.
Cavs minus 10.5. Bennett
Yeah.
said he's laying big points with Cleveland tonight. Tip at 6 o'clock on ESPN.
What are we watching on TV?
Got caught up on Righteous Gemstones last night.
Oh, my God.
It's outrageous.
They walked in on their dad's 69 and their mom's best friend. Can I say that?
I don't think so. I don't think you were supposed to say any part of that. I don't think any of that's allowed.
Why?
I don't know. I don't say less.
I can't say that.
I mean, you did say it. So if your question is, are you capable of saying it? Like, do you have the ability? The answer is clearly you do. You just did it.
All right.
Should you
Apologies.
say it? Should you say that? We'll ask Darnell when we're done.
It's just a number.
Ask Darnell. You can go ask Darnell if you want to. I would land on the side of probably not.
Okay, this is coming from the dude that's trying to play death videos on the show. Like what? Whatever. I won't say it again. I won't say it again.
What would you rather do? I send you a video. You ready? Send you a video of an untimely death, or send you a video of two 75-year-olds 69. Which one you want to watch?
You said it.
Which one you want to watch? Which one you want to watch?
Yeah, probably the death videos.
Definitely the death video.
I watch them every day, so that wouldn't faze me.
Not a good one. I don't think there's a good death video.
No, they're
so
never
that's not
good.
what I was trying to say.
They're never good.
That's not what I was trying to say. Did it sound like that's what I was trying to say? That's not what I was trying to say.
I think you meant intense.
I saw an intense one yesterday or day before. I don't know. They run together. But I was like, man, I think Bennett would like this one.
Really?
And then I forgot. I forgot. I just got caught up doing something else, you know? But I'll try to find it. I got a flight, and a connection and everything else.
You can't share what happened?
It was rough, man.
It was rough. Okay.
It was.
Just send it to me after the show.
It was. You knew they were gone just the second it happened. You knew it was over. Anyway, the Righteous Gemstones is outrageous. I'm talking about.
I'm sad it's gonna be gone. It's so good.
I'm talking about there is no way to watch that without laughing out loud if you have any sort of even a little bit of sense of humor. I don't know how they write it. Like I understand just funny things happening all day long. If you just take the script of that and realize these words were on a script,
right?
I don't know how they write this.
I don't either.
It is so outrageous. I don't know how they write it.
Who's your favorite character?
Judy.
I knew you were gonna. She's so good.
Judy Gemstone is the funniest.
So good.
Judy Gemstone's the funniest. Baby Billy.
He's incredible.
Uncle Baby Billy is the funniest.
He's incredible. I like Keith.
Keith's hilarious.
I love Keith.
Every character is hilarious. But Uncle Baby Billy and Walton Goggins is hilarious or not hilarious, but great on White Lotus too.
Yeah,
he's in both HBO shows now, and he's great in both of them. So anyway, if you're not caught up on Righteous Gemstones, you should be. And if you haven't ever watched it, just turn on episode 2. I think you can start with episode 2 of this season. Just turn on episode 2 and just start watching, and you'll find yourself laughing. It's outrageous. Righteous Gemstones on the Max app right now.
What's the best thing we've read?
The Athletic had a big piece on a young woman named Mary Kate Cornett. You remember her? You familiar with the name? Does it ring a bell?
Yes, it does.
She was the Ole Miss student who got caught up in this wild internet story recently, and she's now talking about it. Her parents are talking about it. Her boyfriend's talking about it, and they spoke with the Athletic / New York Times. Really detailed story. It sounds like they're going to file a lawsuit against Pat McAfee and other people who took this rumor and really fed it to the masses.
Yeah.
I mean, they did turn. This is a scary thing. The dad's quote was, "Imagine you're walking down the street with your daughter, and a car drives by, and she gets hooked on the rearview mirror, and she's just getting dragged down the road, and you're just watching your daughter get dragged down the road, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's no way to stop it." That's what I felt like.
Damn.
I'm watching my daughter, just this beautiful young woman who is just off at college, being a very normal college student, and next thing you know, people are claiming on national television, some of the biggest sports personalities in the world, that she hooked up with her boyfriend's father. And now all of this has become, she had to withdraw from classes, started taking online classes. Ole Miss campus security told her not to go to advised her don't go to class anymore. She can't do anything. They are denying that. They're just saying there's no truth to it whatsoever. I obviously don't know. I'll take them at their word because I don't know what the point is to not take them at their word. But it was fun for a minute for everybody to sit there and be like, oh my God, this is crazy. But imagine what it's like if it's totally untrue and it's your daughter.
And what do you do?
There's nothing you can do. It's just, this is the world we live in now with this internet. I just thought it was interesting to get their perspective on it because we got everybody else's. You can find it at The Athletic. Really well done, well reported story. I don't know that it has every side because, like, some people are pointing this out. Okay, that's great that they're all standing up and being like, this never happened. How do you know it never happened?
Sure.
You know, there's that part of it too. I don't know. I'm just not going to go around believing people did awful things if I don't have any reason to believe it. So I'll take them at their word, I guess. But just, we've heard everybody else's perspective. Theirs is now available, theathletic.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, it'll be Thursday. I'll be in San Antonio getting ready for the Final Four, but I will be in front of a microphone. Mike Wallace is going to join me. He'll help us get ready for Grizzlies Heat tomorrow night. Should be a fun show. Looking forward to it already. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll enjoy mine. Meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.